Person of interest is not the same thing as a suspect, and it's important to make the distinction between the two. I'm attorney Catherine Loftus. This is not my objection. Let's explain what it means. So we have terms in the law enforcement community. Person of interest is generally somebody who the police believe has relevant information, pertinent information. Maybe they is somewhat involved. Maybe they ultimately will become the suspect. So it's not to say that a person of interest can't then become a suspect once probable cause is established and then an arrest is effectuated, but labeling someone a person of interest does not equate with them being a suspect. And the problem that we have in today's world is that the media, that's both the traditional media and the online media, and I would probably point more to the online media than anything. The people on the TikTok, on Instagram, who want to be the first ones out with the name, the photo. So in the Brown shooting, there was a person of interest who was being questioned. Okay, that doesn't mean they're arrested. That doesn't mean that they're a suspect. That means that they've been questioned and they have subsequently been released. In the interim, that individual's name and photo was leaked to someone, and it's been spread all over the internet. So this guy might eventually end up being the guy who did it, but he might not. And if he's not, every time you Google his name, it's going to have Brown school shooter next to it. And I just find it to be, number one, so dangerous, and to be so unethical. And the problem is that everybody wants to be first. Nobody cares about being right. They want to get the views. They want to get the clicks. I have to take a step back with this kind of stuff. And I understand that people want this immediate result. That's not how law enforcement works. And we don't want an immediate result most of the time. What we want is a thorough, strong investigation that will ultimately result in a conviction. And sometimes when you rush on the front end, look at what we talked about in Karen Read, right? My opinion is that they got the right person, Karen Read, but they were sloppy and lazy on the front end. If they had done a better investigation, then we probably wouldn't have had the chaos that we have. You know what I mean? You look at Luigi Mangione. They stopped him, took his backpack, and, there's a good chance that might get suppressed. Probably not, but we rush to conclusions and we put that information out into the world. Who holds those people accountable? Who holds the people who put false information out into the world that harm somebody, okay? So person of interest potentially has information, could be a suspect. A suspect is somebody that the police actually believe committed the crime. That means they've done an investigation based on what they have. And then once you go from person of interest to suspect, then you need probable cause to arrest to become a defendant. But up and until then, I think people need to take a step back and let the police do their work. And I understand we have a flawed system. It's not perfect. But if you don't allow the police to actually do a thorough investigation and everyone's just screaming from the outside, what happens is you get somebody arrested and you get a sloppy investigation and they get off on a technicality. So be careful what you ask for.